A mother's frustration with little girls' tights sparks a genius fashion idea. You're gonna wanna see this. I'm Megan Pyre of Brassy Apple, and you're watching Refashion It. I'm really excited about today's show and to have our special guest, Nika from Thrive. Welcome to the show.
Great, thanks. I'm so glad to be here.
Now tell us, what started you refashioning?
You know, I grew up with the world's most creative mother who was doing refashions and repurposing back before it was ever cool. She would go to garage sales and find amazing projects that everyone would look at and walk away, and she could do amazing things with it. But I never appreciated just how amazing she was and the satisfaction you got from doing that until I had to do it myself. We went through a layoff a couple years ago, and the trips to the craft store that I loved and going and shopping for my kids went away. We went right back to necessities. And after a year of doing that, I was tired of being in survival mode. I wanted to thrive again. I wanted to create. I wanted to do fun things for my kids. And so I thought, all right, if I want to do this, I've got to do the things that I saw my mom do and start using what I have on hand. And so we started looking at things that were going into the trash, like the tights that my daughters were going through, like water. And I thought there's got to be a way to salvage these and make something cute for them that doesn't break the bank.
That's great. I love it how your mother inspired you as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have this really great project today. She kind of hinted a little bit about why she came up with this project. So what are the supplies that we need?
This is going to be your things that you should have on hand. You can start with basic girls' tights, and these can be the most beat up, ugly ones you have. They can have holes in them. They can be stained, torn, whatever. It doesn't matter. What you are going to want, though, is to have a good, solid top that we can attach to. So you start with that, your tights. Basic scissors, having a rotary and a mat is helpful but not necessary. And then you're going to need something to attach to. I use plain old knee highs that I found at Target. You can also use nylons, and I'll answer some questions about some follow-up questions that have come in from readers about this project since it was posted.
Okay, I just love this because tights do get ruined so quickly.
It's ridiculous. On a good day, you can find the really cheapy, disposable, expendable pairs for $2. If they have anything cute for your kids, they're going to be $3 or $4. And my daughter likes to dress like a Fruit Loop, and so she wants the loudest, cutest one she have. In fact, she found these tights right here. These were her favorites, and they were awesome at a mere $10 a piece. I have two girls. They wear more than the same outfit day after day. And so we were looking at $40, $60, $80 for tights. And when my princesses act like my tomboys and we start putting holes in these, I become a very grouchy mom very quickly. So we were looking for a way to do it. So we found a way to take cheap old base tights like these and turn them into this look using the dollar tights we could find at Target or Walmart.
All right, refashioners, I'm really excited. So let's get started with our first step.
Okay, and on this, I want to show you the entire process because we've had a lot of questions. Is how fast can you do this, and can you really do this if you're not a non-sewer? And the answer to both is yes, it's fast, and yes, you can do this. We're going to start with our tights, and as you can see in the picture, if you do not have a child that you can fit these to, there's a basic guide that I found. You want to measure down from your inseam right here 1 inch if you're doing infants up to size 24 months. Down 2 inches if you're going to go for a toddler, 3 inches to about a size 6X, and then a full 4 inches if you have a little girl like my daughter, the tree, and that's more like an 8 to a 12 in size. So you're going to come down here and lay them out. Doesn't have to be perfect on this. Okay. And if you can get a straight line with your rotary, that's great. If not, just wing it with regular scissors, no biggie. Okay, and these tights that you're going to pull away, you can use for all kinds of other projects, so don't even toss those. So you set those aside for another day. So you're going to have your basic tights right here. Now again, the easiest way to do this is if you can put these on your child and then fit the leggings that we're going to attach to it. If not, though, you can still do this. So I'm going to have you grab these socks right here.
Okay.
These are our Target specials. Now I can usually find these for $1. If not, for $2.50, these are still coming at about a quarter of what you're going to spend at any children's department store.
And I love it that they can go in if they want to and choose the color and pattern that they want.
Yes, and so my daughter is able to have an incomplete sock wardrobe that goes with everything that she has. So she is free to match, or in her case, mismatch as often and as frequently efficiently as she would like.
And how fun to go in and get the holiday pairs too.
It is, and I would recommend when you start watching for holiday stuff, as those start to go clearance the day after, to snatch those up. So you've got tights for Christmas, you've got them for Valentine's next year, and they don't ever last more than 50% off. I've tried to go even more frugal and it doesn't quite work. Now to fit these, you're just going to take your hand and slide them through, and if you want to grab those pins right there, just take them in, and it's just this simple. Just line them up as best you can, and you're going to want to, as you feel underneath here, to try and line up the base of your tights with this wide band right here. It's just an easy way to line it up, and you're going to pin these in place. Now, if you are going to fit this on your child, may I recommend safety pins instead of straight pins. They seem to like that a little bit more, so it takes just a second to do 4. Now, if you are dealing with a little bit of a difference in size, if your tights are a little bit smaller than the sock that you're using, or vice versa, it still will work. We've done this on a woman size base with tights like this for a child, and it will still work. You're just gonna want to get a center pin on the front and on the back, and then do like you would with quilting or putting in a sleeve, and stretch it to get them to line up here. So you just put your pins in. Now, if your sewing machine has a removable piece right here, go ahead and take that off. And again, if you do not have one or have a base that is fixed, this still works. You're just going to want to make sure that you're not sewing through both pieces of the tight so that you have a closed. Now, on this, just open it up, and you're going to need to stretch it a lot. Don't worry about it. And lift up your pressure foot in the back and slide this all the way underneath and get it right there so it's in tight. And it doesn't matter where you start. Any places there. One thing you do want to make sure though, when you do attach this, is to just check where your heel placement is. Make sure that these are facing forward and that they're lined up with your holes in your tights so that you don't have feet that are facing a little bit different direction. And
you're also sewing near the top edge of the sock?
It is, and you can do it anywhere you'd like, but it's just nice to go along this and use this as a straight edge for a guide. You don't need to do a double stitch. These have gone through the wash 100 times and have been fine with just a single top stitch. If it makes you feel better though, go right ahead and do a second row of stitching right here. And for this, I'm just using a zigzag stitch on here. If you have a serger, that will work too. You're going to get a little bit more stretch on it, and of course you're going to need to put your cutting blade up when you run it through. So on mine, I've gone ahead and gone with a zigzag, and I'm going to use the widest one I have just so it gives a little bit more give. And then on their stitch length, I'm going to do a medium stitch length. Again, you want it to have some give, but if it's too long of a stitch length on there, it's going to start to pull apart. So if you've got girls like mine who rip things off and throw them over their head, they're going to unravel and quickly.
Right, when they get dressed at the end of the day, they're not thinking about the stitching. So
you want it to be flexible but have a little bit of bite on it. So, and if you're worried about the tension, you can use one of these scraps that we've cut off and run it through the machine there. So you're just going to drop your foot, and on this you're going to go slow and steady and make sure that you are moving this around. It's tight, it's not going to want to move very well, so you're going to need to feed it through. Okay, so just drop your pressure foot, and you want to make sure that you're holding your top string so you don't lose that at the top. And I would just do the first couple of stitches, hand cranking it, just to make sure you've got a good bite on there before you start out. Now I'm using a foot right here that's for overlocking, but you can use just the regular foot that comes with your machine. This one has a little bit of a guide than I like to have because it helps me sew straight. I'm a new sewer, and my lines are a little bit freestyle right now, so that helps me out. So you just go nice and slow, and you're going to want to just help this along and then stop and pull out your pins as you go along. And again, you're just going to need to help this. It's not a natural fit for your sewing machine, but it can do it. And you can see it takes just a few seconds to go right around, all the way around the edge. And just come right around. And one last set of pins that need to come out.
It really does take just a few seconds, and it is attached.
And that's it. And of course, this is one of those projects where you really are going to want to make sure that you are going to back stitch to keep that in place. End with your needle up, and that will pop right out of there. And again, just be nice and gentle as you help ease that out. There's a lot of extra fabric right there. Okay, and just ease that off carefully. And you can see right along the top there, you've got a nice flexible zigzag that works right there. Now, if you are starting out with tights that you have fitted to your child, then at this point you'll want to turn it inside out and just cut away all the extra fabric that's there so you don't have all the extra holes and extra bit of bulk right there. Right. And then this one's right here, and these are ready to go. Now, you can see on the picture that when you get these started, you want to make sure that the heel is lined up on the back of the child. The first time I made these, I didn't do it. I had my daughter slide her feet all the way up to the front, and when she put them on, if you can see in this next picture, there was that ugly bunching right in the back, and it was a dead giveaway that these were socks or tights that were way too big. So when you put them on and are measuring them, anchor the heel and make sure the heel looks good. And if there's any extra in the, left over on the front of your toe, there's a really easy way to fix that. Just open up your toe and press it flat. And then if your child is there, you can just put them on there, use some pins on the very front to mark where the front of their toe is, and just cut it in an arc. If you're doing this for someone else, you can just do your best guess, grab a pair of socks that are similar in length and measure from the heel to the toe, or on if it's got a pattern that's helpful like this little argyle, you can just clip right around the toe right there.
That is such a great tip because you're not limited to just buying socks for your girls in the little girl section.
Yes.
You can hit the women's as well.
And there's a lot more patterns there than you can find tights even online. This gives you the flexibility to get any style, any color or pattern that you like. And then to actually sew this up, there's 3 ways we found that work really well. You can do it with just whip stitching it with a needle and thread. You can put it right back under your machine with that zigzag, or you can run a serger over it. And whether that seam is on the inside or on the outside, it is up to you. And it depends on if your kids like the feeling, if it bunches them, if it bothers them on their toe. So you can do it however is gonna be the most comfortable for you. We've done all 3, and my kids like the whip stitched on the inside. That's their favorite, but again, do whatever is your favorite there. Now, we've had some questions since we did this project originally as far as variations you can do on this theme, and we've tried several, and all of them have worked so far. The first one was, these are great with tights. Can you do these with nylons? And the answer is yes. If you want to grab these ones right here. Nice. These were just your regular cheapy $2 Walmart tights that we started out with, and the hole was blown out in about a week. So we took these, and you can find these in the women's lingerie section. These are about 33 cents. You can pick them up dirt cheap. Really basic, super plain. Then we use the same technique and put these right on the end, and even though they're wrinkly, they stretch out really great with little girls. And the nice thing is, you don't have to mess with the toe at all. They're really forgiving, and so you slide them right on.
So it's tights with nylons on the ends. Oh, that is such a great idea.
So you've got nylons that you can use now, and once these blow out, you want to just grab your seam ripper. You can take these right off, or even just trim up a little bit more, and then this same base can be used 2, 3, 4 times over, and just keep going over it. So your cost for tights, just for like your Sunday, everyday ones, you're looking at 33 cents instead of $2 every single time. And if you need to, you can swap out the colors. We've been in a panic the night before church and realized we needed tights, and so we've taken white tights like this and put brown, we've put black, we've put pink, because no one can see that you're hiding this. So this is an easy way to do that. Another one that works is to go to the dollar store, and I picked these ones up there. These are 2 packages for $1 right here. Again, 50 cents a piece.
These are probably men's socks, trouser socks.
Yeah. And they're going to be that same height. So again, you're going to want to fit them. And since this is a little bit more, it doesn't have the same fabric to work with like on you do on the toe.
Dressier, thinner.
And it's going to be a little bit tough to sew and finish off that edge against itself. We lined these up on the front of the toe and then brought these up really high. So these ones fit up a little bit higher on the leg than the other ones do, but this is really stretchy. And so for toddler and infant sizes, this will work great. Check with girls who are above like a size 6X. It might start to get a little bit tight, so just check and see on there. But for 50 cents and for extra colors, this is a really easy one to do. Another question we had is can you mix bases? Can you take a thin nylon base and then put a sock like this with it? Of course, we did it on the first one, but can you reverse it? And you can. We started out with just a worn out, hammered piece of regular pair of tights, the heavy duty tights, and took our dollar store nylons and attached those. And again, we've got them shown pinned in place right here. Stitch along the top like you would with your zigzag, and these hold up really well just the same. So that's another option for you there.
I think you got one more option.
One more to do. And this is great if you have girls like mine who like to hang upside down, especially when they have skirts on outside. Or if you've got a dress code at school where you're required to have bike shorts or some kind of a legging on underneath dresses. On this, instead of starting out with a base from our nylons or our tights, we took a pair of leggings that have a little hole in them. And I've already done one side, but you would do this the same. You would line it up where you wanted to, and you're going to want to leave about 1 inch extra. And again, you could use a rotary, but I'll just use plain scissors here. and cut this off. And then instead of bringing the tights up and attaching them to this front edge like we've done, you can hide the seam and have it make it look like these are just regular bicycle shorts pulled over regular tights by attaching these backwards. And what you'll do on this is just turn them inside out. And we'll just grab a sock. We'll just grab a sock, this one right here. So that you have your exposed raw seam right here. And then on your tights, again, it's important to make sure that your toe is going to be facing the direction that you want it to go. But you're going to thread this right side out up through here.
Oh, okay. That's a very, very good tip.
So you'll have this lined up. And again, there's going to be a significant amount of gap on both sides. So what you'll do is you'll mark your front and your center back. And on your side, you'll want to take as close as you can guess the middle there, and pin that to your middle, and do that on the other side. And then when you go to put this on your machine, you're going to do the same thing. You'll want to stretch that out, and as you sew, make sure that the top of your leggings is flush with your tights, and then make sure when you sew that's nice and tight. And then when you go to flip this right side out, you're going to have a nice clean edge that's there. And you can leave it like this, or if you'd like more of a finished edge, you can take your regular straight stitch and come along the top with a little bit of top stitching. And then you've got tights that are ready to go with a little extra coverage if you've got girls that need a little extra coverage right there.
Oh my gosh, the possibilities you have presented today are so amazing.
These have been fun, and hopefully the idea with this is that you can use anything that you've got, any combination, and throw them together and come up with a look for your little girls that's not going to end up breaking the bank.
Right, and totally original to them.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank Nika for coming today, and I hope she has opened your eyes to the possibilities that socks can have. So run out and grab some and get refashioning. We'll see you next time.